We are going to show you how to set up cultivation beds for an intensive organic market gardening enterprise in living soil. Welcome to your training course on intensive market gardening. Let's take a look at how to set up cultivation beds. What are cultivation beds? It is a way of farming that optimizes yield and preserves the life of the soil. Cultivation beds are strips of earth on which you will grow crops. They are elevated. They are separated by footpaths which are lower than the cultivation beds. For the training, you will need a plot of about 12 by 12 meters. You will make 10 cultivation beds of 10 meters length in this plot. You will need the following tools: a meter, 40 stakes of 45 to 50 centimeters, 30 meters of string/small rope, a shovel or a hoe, a pickaxe if the soil is hard, a rake, a broad fork, wide fork, or a pickaxe, a watering can or a hose for watering. If you have compost or manure, plan for 4 wheelbarrows per bed. You will also need dry matter like straw, dry leaves, or dry crop residue. You will need about 5 wheelbarrows per footpath. The setup of the beds is done in 7 steps. If all the materials are gathered, it's a task that takes no more than 1 day for 2 people.
First step: choosing and preparing your plot.
Choose a plot of 12 meters long by 12 meters wide, preferably near a water source. If necessary, level the surface of the soil. If the soil is too dry, water the plot abundantly to facilitate the next steps.
Second step: measuring the beds.
First, you must take the necessary measurements to make the beds. The beds are 75 centimeters wide. The footpaths 40 centimeters. You must start and end with a footpath. Start at one end of the field. Plant a stake. Use a meter to measure 40 centimeters in width. Plant a second stake. You have the boundary of the first footpath. Then measure the width of the first bed. Plant a third stake at 75 centimeters. Then repeat these operations, beds/footpaths across the width of the plot, until you have the 10 beds and the 11 footpaths. Cross the field in length over 10 meters. Measure the beds and the footpaths opposite in the same way by planting stakes.
Third step: digging the footpaths and putting soil on the beds. To clearly delineate the beds and footpaths, and to make straight lines, you will use a taut rope in the length between the stakes. Stretch a rope between the stakes that define the footpath. Dig the footpath with a shovel following the ropes. Distribute the recovered soil evenly to the right and left on the beds. The footpaths should have a depth of 10 to 20 centimeters. Repeat the operation for the 11 footpaths. Fourth step: amending the cultivation beds.
It is essential to enrich the soil and improve its texture. For this, you can use compost or manure. About 4 wheelbarrows of compost are needed per bed. Distribute it evenly over the entire surface with a rake or by hand.
Fifth step: aerating the soil of the beds and incorporating the compost or manure.
This step allows both to aerate the soil and to mix the earth with the compost or manure deposited in the previous step. Soil aeration is done with a broad fork or a large fork. If you don't have one, you can use a pickaxe. Insert the tool as deeply as possible into the soil. Gently lift the soil, taking care not to turn it over. Be careful not to disturb the soil layers. The amendment should simply fall into the cracks created when you lift the tool. Use a rake to level the soil of the beds.
6th step, mulching the footpaths.
Fill the footpaths with dry organic matter. This can be straw, leaves, or dry crop residues. An amount of 30 to 40 centimeters is needed. This straw will be compacted over time and as you walk on it. Its role is to prevent weeds in the footpaths and to retain excess water. Moreover, this dry matter will turn into compost over time.
7th step, watering.
Once you have finished preparing the beds, water the entire plot generously. Congratulations, your plot now has 10 beds ready for intensive organic market gardening in living soil.